Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program, our program. I never said pregnant accidentally. All right, Madisonville Marines is bringing it to you. There's no better place to buy a boat. Why? Well, people talk about pricing and customer service, and they're great, but the selection wows a lot of visitors to their showroom. More different makes and models of boats than anyone else in East Tennessee. I'm telling you, get down and see it for yourself. Madisonville Marine. All right. Back with my all VFL player panel over here. For the Inside the Huddle segment, I'm going to just lay it out here and make it real easy. Let's cut to the chase. I don't need to give much background. At LSU, Les Miles' Achilles heel is the passing game. They just never can pass the stinking football. You're in year 4 here, and we keep saying, well, you know, Dooley didn't leave him much on the offensive line. Those guys graduated. There was nothing behind it, blah, 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 blah. I'm not seeing a lot of improvement year over year. You've signed some big-name guys. You've got veterans. Is it fair to say now in year 4 that the Achilles heel for Butch Jones is the offensive line?
I mean, I think it's warrants a conversation. And, you know, talking about, like, what is the issue? You know, Daniel talked about something earlier in the show when you guys were talking about the string coaches. You know, maybe it's the recruiting. You know, maybe it's the players. You know, when you learn about working out, you learn how you get stronger is variation. So maybe mixing up a strength coach every year, well, that's pretty good variation. Well, then what's the deal here? I can't, even if you had a different strength coach every year, I still can't imagine you're not getting stronger. You know, I mean, you're still lifting. You should be still doing the same core stuff. So at what point does it become the players maybe just doesn't have the capability to get to the strength level, able to get it done in the SEC?
Well, my thing is just why doesn't this coaching staff take a page out of what Fulmer and a lot of these other guys did? When they recruited offensive line, they recruited defensive tackles. Yeah. And they brought them in for a day or two and said, hey, son, why don't you go put on that jersey and see if you could do some stuff over there for a few minutes. All of a sudden, he was an offensive guard or an offensive tackle. Yeah. Because this way, if a kid is just an offensive lineman coming out of high school and you miss on him, where does he go?
What do you do?
He can't go down.
Yeah. Drew Richmond doesn't turn things around, and he may. He's a young guy. He's 2 years into
But there's no other place to move him. If a defensive tackle doesn't work out, but he's athletic.
That was me.
Let's try an offensive line.
I was the defensive, absolutely. And one day I went out to practice, and I see Coach Fulmer over there with the centers. I'm like, he's an offensive line guy. He's never with the centers. And he's looking right at me. I'm like, what's going on? He's holding this ball. He's like, come here, David. Have you ever snapped a ball before? I knew with that question, my career had changed.
Well, I mean, that's something Tennessee used to do. A lot of teams do that. Recruit safeties, they don't work out their linebackers. Linebackers become defensive linemen become offensive linemen.
I was going to add this. I think you're exactly right. I think our Achilles heel is offensive line, and I don't know if it's whether it's recruiting or being able to coach them up or whatever, but of course I got to go against another offensive line of his at Cincinnati, actually getting to play against those guys. And I can still remember from that game that I've got to play against Alabamas and South Carolinas and whoever, and it wasn't there. They weren't.
So when you were playing at Tennessee and Cincinnati came down here, that O-line at Cincinnati didn't wow you?
No, it didn't wow me. And at that time we had a really good read on run pass, so as every play we knew whether it was run or pass. Now, of course, when they came here, it's like, hey, we told them what it was and how to get it fixed, but it just didn't wow me. And so looking at it now, you just go back to it's either somebody's not recruiting it, and so if it is Coach Mahoney being able to recruit the guys that he wants to recruit to make his guys. Okay, if he is and they're still missing, you got to find someone else. If he's not able to recruit his guys, then who is, and how do we change that?
Sterling, congratulations! You work with these coaches. You're over there all the time, so you get to finish up. Is that their Achilles heel?
I don't think it's the Achilles heel. I think they need to play better.
Shocker!
I don't think it's the Achilles heel because I think the offensive philosophy. It's a lot of catch in this offensive philosophy. I've come from a time when football was explosive, we coming at you. And it's been 3rd and 7, I would check to a run. I knew my guys was going to get it for me. So, it's just different philosophy in football right now. And I think right now we have to just, motivate our guys to play better.
All right.
What is their Achilles heel?
I don't know. We're 2-0. Do we have one? I mean, we're 2-0. That's
I think you got one.
We're 2-0.
I think you got one. We come back. When we come back, quick slants on everything. We had a ton of stuff coming back on the Sports Source.